Hum da dum hum da da hum dum dum hum.
I can't do this. I can't do this intro again, not this week.
And now for something completely different.
The Book of Boba Fett episode 5 is here. After last week's cliffhanger, I saw a lot of folks very stoked for Din Djarin coming back, which is no secret anymore. We're gonna talk about it openly. Now, I must say, after all the criticism the show is getting, I was very surprised how over the moon excited everyone was about Din returning. Because I was like, really? I kind of dig that the Mandalorian show was this doorway into the Mandoverse, but does every show have to do that? Oh, but I did love the way episode 4 hinted at him returning, that's for sure. Just subtly dropping that music cue. You know, the creators trusting the audience that we know, we only need to hear it. Great touch. I can walk on my own 2 feet is a line Boba says in episode 1, and I kinda hoped that would ring true for this show, but here we are. Boba needs to buy muscle, and even if that means John and Dave can come up with anyone to bring back, Bosk, Embo, Cad Bane, new characters, they go for Din. Does that play out well? Am I proven wrong here? Let's talk about it. Hello, fellow Disney Plus watcher. I'm excited to talk about Disney Plus with you today. For the few of you who might be wondering and following the reviews on the channel, the friend I'm always talking with about the show is now on a trip, so yeah, it's just me today. He'll be back, but okay. So just a fair warning here. I do feel the need to discuss big spoilers. If you haven't seen it, please come back later. Ready for it? Great. Okay, not that we are gonna linger on it too much, but I want you to know where I'm coming from here. I so far loved the Book of Boba Fett. The criticism that Boba changed too much is actually not one of my problems with it, because I feel like the show really tells his journey really well. I love the confidence from Jon Favreau and team to use his legacy and story-wise be a pure Boba Fett show, but still changing up the character because of his change of perspective on the world. People change. One day he's a feared bounty hunter, the other day he lives with a Tusken tribe to survive. Boba witnesses all this violent injustice. He learns that Tuskens are the true inhabitants of the Dune Sea and develops a way better sense of what's right and wrong because of these years of him just surviving and learning about heritage and all that. Book of Boba Fett works for me. Is it better than The Mandalorian? No. Should it be its own show? Yes. What is this episode's business here? But before we go into that, I want to take a moment to thank everybody who supports this channel. Really, thanks for being here. I have a lot of fun here, and also in the comment section afterwards, the conversation just doesn't stop with the video, We're almost at 500 subscribers, and that means a lot. You don't want to miss out if you're all nerdy about Disney Plus, so you know what you have to do if you're new. This episode feels like I'm eating pizza and someone asking me if I would like a piece of apple pie. I didn't yet finish my pizza. I love both apple pie and pizza, but I'm not done with my pizza, and even though the apple pie tastes absolutely delicious, I'm still gonna finish my pizza afterwards, and my appetite is still on that pizza. The apple pie, although absolutely delicious, is just in the way.
This is the way.
No, it's not. But man, this episode is so well directed. So it starts out in a location that tests the boundaries between Star Wars and what might feel like a little too much like Planet Earth. I still dig it. Love the atmosphere here. The butchers are now in Star Wars, and we see both Klatooinians and the creatures Mando had to fight against in Chapter 4 of Season 1 of The Mandalorian. The raiders from the village. I love that we see Mando in a place where he's kind of both a feared bounty hunter and a noble warrior with a code. His most rough edges might be gone after his developing relationship with Grogu, but he's still that guy we met at the very beginning of The Mandalorian. I really liked the contrast between this extremely violent way of taking these guys out, and then afterwards how he offers the remaining workers there a mutually beneficial, to quote Boba here, solution to have Mercy save Mando some trouble and just take some money and run, What we all should have done with Bitcoin right now. Yeah. Don't know how I feel about the line, I can bring you in warm or I can bring you in cold. Felt a little bit on the nose if we think about that line from the very first episode.
Again, it's like poetry, so if they rhyme.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I don't know this world from known canon, probably someone will, but I love how science fiction it felt. It felt a bit Star Trek, the world we're first on. So it felt a bit Star Trek, but that's not a bad thing per se. I almost screamed when Mando wandered through the streets and we see this beautiful establishing shots. I was Bryce Howard, thank you for making this completely misplaced episode so freaking beautiful. It also gave me Cloud City vibes, big time. Especially the parts below the surface really brought me back to the scene where Luke is hanging on that antenna thingy. I don't know, I hope you understand my comparison. It really reminded me of that. Oh, and by the way, am I the only one who thought this guy looks like a pencil? Or maybe a fountain pen? I don't know. Let's move on. So Mando collects his bounty and then returns to the Armorer and the Mandalorian's new hideout, it seems. And this whole section of the show is where I started to worry big time, but it's also the section I loved the most, so this scene is really conflicting. I hold out hope in the beginning of the episode that we got this reintroduction of Mando. Okay, cool, kinda cool, and then BAM! Boom, back to Boba. We're in the Book of Boba Fett again. But no. Again, as a reintroduction to Mando's story, it worked big time. The duel between Paz Vizsla and Din, holy moly. And it makes sense. The legacy of that Darksaber started with Clan Vizsla, and I've never thought about this story possibility, but I guess Mando Season 3 is gonna be about Bo-Katan and the Armor and Paz Vizsla hunting down Din. That series will probably be amazing. And we already got the first episode, yay! Yes, this is the first episode of Mandalorian Season 3, and no one's gonna tell me otherwise. It's a bit weird to think about it, but actually the Book of Boba Fett is confirming the return of Grogu in the Mandoverse. I guess they wanted to announce that as soon as possible, and hey, new armor. Can't wait to see that. That'll be a great merchandising opportunity. Oh, and I absolutely loved the little flashback on the Night of 1,000 Tears. Really felt like a gritty war movie, and honestly, I got Terminator vibes with this shot right here. Where the K units are they called K units? Something like that, I guess. I don't know. Tell me in the comments if I'm completely off here, but yeah, the K2SO droids from Rogue One. But yeah, this looked like the opening scene of the first Terminator movie, and it was wow. Mando traveling to Tatooine felt a bit jarring at first. I knew we would know the reason soon enough within the episode, but it felt so easy that Fennec just recruits him while he's chilling at Pelly's. I mean, I'm not crazy, right? Feels a bit too convenient, maybe. I would consider this a nitpick, but it didn't bother me too much. But around the same time Boba and Fennec agree about acquiring muscle, Mando is apparently just kinda there. So the moment where Pelly is chasing that little monster with the help of her droids and her grabbing onto the crate and just screaming, "Ah, it's got me, it's chewing!" It was a bit too cartoony, maybe. I don't know, nitpicks, it was too cartoony for me. But yeah, I do love Mando's new ship, bringing in some Phantom Menace vibes, which is totally cool. The whole montage of fixing the ship was great. Oh, I loved the little BD droid just being way too energetic to point his light in the right direction, and Mando just, come on, focus right here. No, here. That's such a relatable problem. I'm always that person if I have the flashlight. I just get distracted and need other people to remind me where I should be pointing the light. I really like relatable humor like this. Oh, and talking about Phantom Menace vibes, the canyon Mando flies through is probably the same route of the pod races, right? It probably is. Small planet, Tatooine. But I got the feels, man. I got the feels. Lots of moments in this episode where I got goosebumps. And it was shot like one of these classic aircraft movies, like Top Gun or something. I personally didn't see Top Gun, so I don't know if I should be given that example. But shots like the camera pointing in frog perspective within the cockpit, that's so jet fighter camera work right there. And then right before Mando has a conversation with the two New Republic police, the camera movement when it follows the N1 starfighter right between the two X-Wings was so dynamic and beautiful. And this scene, this what seems to be the problem officer scene.
What seems to be the officer problem?
Made me think about the possibilities for Mandalorian Season 3 again. Because maybe this guy is gonna be wanted by everyone. The Armorer and Paz Vizsla, Bo-Katan, and now the New Republic for hiding information on what happened and what he saw on the base of Navarro. It's so great that slowly but surely all of these episodes from The Mandalorian that some discarded as filler, like the one with the Imperial base on Navarro, is now really important and might have great implications on the third season of The Mandalorian. So the episode ends with Fennec conveniently finding Mando. Again, bit of a nitpick, but yeah, it did feel convenient that in this giant galaxy, Mando happens to be around the corner when they need him. The Book of Boba Fett theme playing during the credits felt so wrong. They should have just played the Mando theme or even better, made a longer version of the mashup version of the opening title card, because that remix of Boba's theme and Mando's theme in the opening title card was dope. I hope that cue makes it into the second album. Gosh, this episode is so frustrating. It really genuinely feels like going to the movie theater and accidentally sitting in the wrong room. Like the few opening scenes start playing and you realize you're at the wrong movie. You feel your heart fall into your stomach like, oh shit, I'm not where I was supposed to go to this other film. Shit, what am I gonna do? Real talk. I promise you, I'm not saying this to appear interesting or to have a hot take, you know? I genuinely felt discomfort watching this episode because it suddenly feels like the creators weren't 100% confident in the show, that they needed to bring him in and we need to follow him. I mean, this was hyped up as the episode that will change everything, but it didn't actually change the story. Yeah, it changed our perspective on the show. You know, they said, wait up haters, wait till episode 5 and everything will be different. Well, they weren't joking. You know, one of the other big problems with this approach is the fact that if some lost Disney Plus browsing fella who's not that into Star Wars but just wants to watch something fun, no casual viewer can watch the Book of Boba Fett now. This episode ruined that. Sorry, I don't want Star Wars to become exactly like the MCU, to be honest. This is a waste for me. I know this criticism is based on what I like to see instead of just seeing what is there in the episode, and I talked a lot about what I love and what I love and what I love even more, you know? So I know this criticism is kind of what I want to see, not what is there. I really think it kind of robs the show of its momentum, so I guess it's fair. This is actually the best directed, the most exciting, and most beautiful episode that I hate. That I kinda hate. I'm absolutely completely torn on this episode. I've never had such conflicted feelings about any... I need to take a moment to let that sink in, but I have never had such conflicted feelings about any piece of Star Wars content. And it's so easy to fix. Let The Mandalorian Season 3 be 9 episodes, and The Book of Boba Fett 6 episodes, if this episode is what they needed to tell Mando's story. Because it's a great addition to Mando's story, and if this episode still finished early, shelve it for Season 3 of Mando. Just shelve it. It's done shooting early, fine. I'm thinking about wrapping this up. Thank you so much for watching. I'm curious, what did you think of this episode of The Mandalorian? I mean, The Book of Boba Fett. Be sure to let me know in the comment section. Don't forget, if you like discussing Disney Plus content, make sure to hit that mysterious red button. And if you're interested in my thoughts on the previous episodes and my friends' thoughts on it, you'll find it in the description or, you know, visit the channel. Did you like this video? Then there's a button to express that. Thank you so much. For now, have a wonderful day and see ya.